Multitasking, very difficult. So, if you were here yesterday, then you probably know who this man is, and if you were not, then you probably know as well. Um, he did a great presentation yesterday about his career in pinball, which spans over
54 years.
54 years. Um,
A long time.
Most of you in the room aren't even 54 years old. Well, I am, but so. Um, Without further ado, Mr. Steve Ritchie, legendary pinball designer.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm going to sit down.
Can you
Can we
take the
do
other
that
chair?
mic again?
Sure.
Okay.
Hang on. Use that one for a second.
Right. This is called an awkward moment. I'm I'm very good at them. We passed it through everything. You know what? Whenever you're ready. Um, I've made pinballs for a very long time. But first, I would like to say this. I would like to say I always like coming to the Netherlands. People are very good to me. It's a great country, and pinball is so international. And you know, when I come here, I feel loved. It's a nice thing. Um, wow. I guess I will start with well, some I'm going to talk about. I talked about yesterday also, but I don't know how many were here or not. So I tell some stories, and we'll talk about it. When I was 5 years old, my father liked to play pinball. In fact, he would cheat them in San Francisco in the 1930s. Uh, they would drill a hole in the side of the game, get a wire out, and run up the points, and then they'd run up replays, and then they would get candy and stuff for free. They would pay out. Um, he was a bad man. No, he wasn't. He was he was a good man. He's kind of I don't think they had much money. The depression was affected the whole country. Anyway, he took me to. I was born in San Francisco, so he took me to this place called Playland at the beach. It was there for a long time, and they had wood rail pinballs there, and they were bolted down in the back to a big shelf. They had front legs, but all bolted down. You couldn't shake them, you couldn't move them, you couldn't do anything with them. But I didn't know that. That's the first time I ever played pinball, 5 years old. And then my parents joined the bowling league. So do you know what bowling is? Okay. Um, and they would give me $1, okay, and I would play the machines they had there at the bowling alley, and I played them all, and I really liked it. I remember this one time. The game was open. The playfield was up like this, and it's pretty. It's like chrome plated stuff. And he goes, you know what? This is a Gottlieb. It's the Cadillac of the industry. He told me that. It was well made. I mean, better than other pinball machines. The most machines that were out were Gottlieb machines in California at the time, and always 5 ball. Anyway, I played pinball many times whenever they went bowling. And after that, I'm going to school. I like to make gadgets. I like to mess with motors and other things. My desk kind of exploded when you open it up. Not with fire, but boom! Rulers are all rolled up with rubber bands. It's like an alarm, sort of. So when I was in the 8th grade, they said, "We think these are my teachers." They say, "We think you're going to grow up to be a mad scientist in a toy factory." And that's about what it is. It's been a good life, though. I enjoy making pinballs, and I especially enjoy all the people. I think pinball people are the best people in the world. That's what I think. Um, I want to make them happy. I definitely do. And so I went to high school, and then I didn't play much in high school because my parents weren't bowling, and it was a long way to the bowling alley. But I got into motorcycles. Well, my father let me ride a motorcycle when I was 10 years old. I would go over the mountains. I lived in Pacifica, 20 miles south, right on the coast in California, and I would ride this thing with a friend on the back and go over the mountains like 20 miles to all the way to the ocean. It was fun. Also, uh, I joined the Coast Guard in 1968. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to be an adventure man. My father was in World War II. He was in the Navy. I come from a military family. My grandfather was in the U.S. Cavalry. He came over and he lied a lot, but he says he rounded up Indians and fed Sitting Bull ice cream in Yosemite. Anyway, I got out of the Coast Guard and I was playing in bands and not making much money. And I decided to look for work. My wife was working and I felt guilty because she was working and I was not. And this is kind of an archaic idea. People don't think like that all the time usually, but I did. So I'm walking along in California looking for a place, and I come to the Atari building, and I don't even know what they are. I mean, I just saw the word, and nobody. I knew they made video games. I did know that. So I got a job at Atari as an electromechanical technician. I had training in college and a lot in the Coast Guard. So I started working there, and you walk in the place, and the stereo everywhere in the building, and beautiful women, and I'm already married though. I look. It was an amazing company. I had fun there, and uh, here's a strange story that people don't know. I think. Okay, every Friday on a table, big table, where ladies were reworking PC boards. They had to take the parts out and put in new ones. Um, Things that died during burn-in. Every board is baked for 24 hours, and then they pull it out. And if they don't work, they fix the part. On that table is a tray of hashish brownies every Friday, and everybody eats them. My boss, who wears a tie and a white shirt, is eating away. It was insane. In Los Gatos, California, you could do anything pretty much. Nobody got arrested for marijuana or anything like that, even in the 70s. And there were crazy parties at Friday night or afternoon, big jugs of wine and cocaine and everything you would think of. It's just, whoa, interesting life. So I was there for about a year. And then they said, we're going to start a pinball division. You want to be employee number one? I go, yeah, sure. And I knew nothing really about building a pinball machine. They hired a guy from Williams, and he actually taught me how to how to build a pinball machine. We built Whitewoods together, and then after about a couple months, I guess, I don't know, 2 or 3 games, I thought I could do this. I could do this. So I took home a blank panel of wood and put paper on it, and I drew a game. And um, I worked on it at home. That's what I did. And when it was done, I brought it in. And my boss said, you can't design pinball machines. You have to have a degree in industrial design. Okay. Well, I didn't like that answer, so I went to Nolan Bushnell, the president, and I said, I made this at home. I would like to build this game. I would like to be a game designer. And he goes, poof, you're a game designer. He really did. And so in a week, I had a big drafting table and, an electric eraser. And you draw on mylar plastic. It's kind of foggy, but and that was how we did it then, drafting, draw the game. So I got to draw the real game, correctly. It was Airborne Avenger. Airborne Avenger was a spell out on the game. Roger Sharp later, on his Corner article in a magazine, he said, Airborne Avenger, what a mouthful. It's very hard to finish all the letters. Um, the game was designed by a kid who knew nothing. Okay, that's about it. But I got some experience, and then we had a contest to make Superman. We didn't know the title in the beginning, but we found out like 2 or 3 months later. So another guy who did have an industrial design degree. He and I and our team, and on my team was Eugene Jarvis, who became he was an incredible programmer even then. It was great, and also crazy ideas like me. We tried a lot of things. We were a good team. And of course, Eugene now owns Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics and just building video games. I see him now and then. We have a good time still. Interesting. Anyway, uh, after Superman, well, the first thing is the old Atari games had the scores on a little display on the lower arch in the apron, and nobody could see them except for the player. I think they were going, I want a backlash with just lights, no scores, no nothing, crazy stuff. And we're going to innovate and use rotary solenoids, which were terrible. They died quick. Uh, they were weak and very difficult to make a game around. So after they made, I guess, 3 or 4 games, I said, why can't we make a game like everybody else? Put the displays in the back box, use linear coil solenoids like Bally, like Stern had, well, it was called Chicago Coin then, like everybody had, Williams, but not us. All these round things that didn't work and would break. So finally, I got to make a game with solenoids, real pinball parts. And really, not very many people at Atari knew how a pinball went together or played them or looked at the inside of other, competitors. Excuse me. And they have, so we got our games together and they chose my game and we put it out as a whitewood on the arcade. It said Rockstar in letters like Superman, where Superman letters are supposed to go. And we put it on test and it made good money as a whitewood. So we built it. It was a pretty good success. Right about at the end of the game, well, Eugene and I messed with a bunch of things. Like, um, okay, I had an echo machine for playing my guitar, and you'd start a sound and you could make it play forever, and it was crazy. It was like, we connected up that to the pinball machine. It was a background sound, and it didn't increase in pitch or anything. But I thought this is interesting, and I got an offer to go to Williams Electronics, and that was an exciting time. This is the only time that I ever made a little napkin drawing. You know what I mean? Just a sketch of the game. I had the name, Flash, and I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that pinball machines had 12 volts in them. When you step on the brake in your car, you get bright lights in the back. I wanted bright lights. It took them a long time to figure out how to do it, though, because come up too slow, go back down. Yeah. You have to preheat the filament first with a low voltage, and then, boom, it comes on right when you want it. It took us a long time to figure that out. Uh, so I made Flash. It turned out to be my best-selling game, almost 20,000 machines, and uh, we had excuse me, like a xenon flash tube in the top in a box, and they pointed up to the ceiling. And then, so when things are going off in the playfield, it fooled people thinking, "Oh my God, it lights the whole room." It really didn't, but it was still fun. And after that, I said it went 19,755 machines. It took Williams a whole year to make them, and I was very happy and excited. And I go, "What do you think?" Jack Middle was the sales guy, and he goes, I said, "Why can't we go to 20,000?" And he goes, "We want to leave the market wanting." Okay. So he stopped making them then. That was okay. After that, they had me do a wide body immediately. They wanted to make more money. Okay, so this wide body is huge. The name of it is Stellar Wars. The first playfield I did for it was horrible. It didn't play well at all. And I had drop targets that spelled Stellar Wars. And one day I came in and they had little stickers everywhere that said pigs in space. You don't know what that is, do you? The Muppets. Yeah, the Muppets. Anyway, I picked up the whole thing, threw it in the garbage, and started over. They were right. It wasn't a good game. And wow, I have to say, it has some of the worst art of any pinball I ever saw. Terrible art. But I learned about this. We only had one artist, and he didn't know perspective. It was strange. Have you ever seen one? Evert. Ladies and gentlemen, Evert Brochet is here. I have not seen him in many years, and he's here. Also, L.J. Green, this beautiful lady back here. And Gerard, of course, you know Gerard. Um, anyway, uh, after this Stellar Wars thing, I got to rolling, and Eugene, he didn't come to Williams until a year later. I begged the president, Mike Stroll, can we hire Eugene? He goes, sure. I mean, if you think he's good, he's good. He's great. So he came and we made Firepower together. That was a fun game. One night we were playing the Whitewood and we just thought, we know this game is going to be a hit. I invented the word multi-ball, and we got a trademark on it, and also lane change. It was fun, but I was kind of dumb. I made the lights only move to the right because I thought it would be simpler for people. And now, you can change lanes anytime you want. I don't. I only use the right flipper button still today to play anybody's game that has lane change. I can't help it. Um, so Firepower was a big hit. The pinball business had gone a little bit down, but I think we sold like 17,000 of those, and it was a good time. And wow, the next game was Black Knight with Larry DeMar. Eugene wanted to make video games, and so I worked with him for a little bit on Defender, not pinball, Defender, the video game, and I didn't do much work, but I came up with some stuff, and but Eugene made a great game out of it with the bad guys would come and they would change your people into bad guys, and so they'd all come after you. It was a great game. Uh, so Black Knight was the first two-level game, and this is a true story. Uh, I also brought a friend from Atari. His name was Claude Fernandez, and he was a mechanical engineer on Superman, and he was my friend. I let him stay at my house for a month while he looked for a house to live in when he came to Williams. And so I'm working on Black Knight. I have about half the game done. And one day he doesn't come to work. And I didn't know this until we go to the show and we see Flash Gordon, which also copied everything that I had on my game at the time, upper level, whole thing. Um, the president was furious. He wanted to kill. He wanted to kill Claude. It was a bad scene. We got the lion's share of the money and we sold more games, but still, I think it could have made a lot more for Williams if you hadn't done that. Larry DeMar and I both have very strong personalities. I love him. He's my friend forever. Uh, but we argued a lot on Black Knight, and he invented. I invented Hurry Up. He invented the jackpot, and that was an interesting thing. Um, it was great, and he was a magnificent programmer. He still is today. Um, anyway, after that, Black Knight, pinball started to go down again. Video games were huge, Space Invaders, and a million games were sold. And I wanted to make a video game too, to produce one. I'm not a programmer. I'm not an artist, but I have game ideas, and I produced some video games and also slot machines because it's fun and it's fun to make games and make them entertaining for people and addictive. It's a bad word. Addict. Become addict. Anyway, uh, so I made Hyperball, which is basically a video game, and it was the noisiest game I ever made. It makes a lot of noise. After that, I went to the president and asked him if I could go to California and start a video game company based on Williams stuff, and he said sure. So I got a house in the country, way in the country, uh, and it was a big shop in the back. So we started making this game. It was called Devastator. It was the first 68,000 microprocessor video game, and we had some great innovations. You could film with a video camera and create animations with them, but they were bad animations. I had to clean up every image myself of the ship flying. It was a very nice game. Right in the middle of that, uh, Williams built Star Rider. I don't know. Maybe it was Star Rider. I think so. It was like a motorcycle game, a video disc game, and nobody bought it. Williams lost $17 million. So Mike Stroh calls me up and he says, I can't pay you for the game because we have no money. It's over for the video games for now. I mean, video games fell through the floor at that point. And after that, I said, okay, can I come back to Williams? And he goes, sure. So I go back to Williams, and the building is dark. We're not selling any games. Not for like 4 months. The whole factory was dark. Engineering's still there. All the people in engineering were there. But pinballs were not selling. Videos weren't selling either. Nothing was selling. Pinball's always done this. Always. I have to watch out for it. Um, anyway, well, I have this story to tell. I'm sure you've heard it. Some of you heard it yesterday, but when I was in California working there, I bought a Porsche 928, and it was so beautiful. And it was a company car. I'm charged to my company, and so I've had it for like 2 or 3 months, and I just thought I want to try this out. And where we were was in the middle of the country, and they just finished this huge highway, I-5, that went all the way from Washington to the bottom of California. 5 lanes in each direction. Okay, beautiful pavement, not a mark on it. California, no snow. The road stays good for a long time. So uh, we start out. We're going to go to San Jose, which is 200 miles away, and to buy electronic parts, Silicon Valley, and that's where you could get them. I mean, you couldn't get them anywhere else. So I mean, there were some mail order companies, but you never knew who made them and whether or not they were good. And these places in Silicon Valley tested them and made sure they were good parts. So I thought, okay, my partner and I are in the car, and I go, I'm going to go fast, okay? He liked to go fast too, okay? So I made the car go as fast as it could go, 146 miles an hour. And there was nothing but big tomato trucks in the right lane. We left early in the morning, and if I came to a tomato truck, I slowed down. But 5 lanes, he's way over there, as far as a wall or more. And anyway, I slowed down for them and then speed back up 146 miles an hour. But we don't know that it's going 146. But in the book, in the Porsche book that comes in the glove compartment, it says this car is guaranteed to go at least 146 miles an hour. And this is the funny part. The speedometer only went to 85, but you could figure it out with the tachometer. And we knew we were going 146. So I'm driving along, and we go over a hill like this, and we start coming down, and my partner says, "That's a highway patrolman, a CHP." So I slow down to like 70, and he goes over the hill like this. I go down the hill, 146 again. It's all flat too. The Central Valley in California, I mean, there's huge mountains in California. There's a coastal range along the ocean, and they have the Sierras on the east side. You can't see them. You cannot see them from the Central Valley. It's big. So, and also flat, and nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. So, uh, I'm driving along still at 146 miles an hour, and a sheriff's car with his red light on comes towards me, and he makes a U-turn. Okay, I knew it was for me. I didn't want to run. There was nowhere to run. Besides that, I also knew that running would have been a felony, a very serious crime, and so I couldn't run. So I pulled over. He gets out of his car and he says, "Wait here and just wait." So we're waiting like 4 or 5 minutes, and all of a sudden the highway patrolman comes, hits a brake. You can tell he's angry. I'm a little frightened, I'll tell you. Okay. He jumps out of the car and tries to pull me out the window of the car. And I go, "Wait, officer, I'll just open the door." Okay, he grabs me, throws me down the hood, and puts handcuffs on me like this. Uh, and then he takes me and puts me in his car in the passenger seat with seatbelt on. But I could see in the mirror. It turns out 9 cop cars came. Different. Lodi, the city of Lodi police, county sheriff, 3 more highway patrolmen, and they're all looking at the car and they're searching my car. I think they thought it was we were running from a robbery or a murder. Who knows? Anyway, they were looking for something, and there was nothing though to look at. Uh, and then they were all laughing at the speedometer. Ha ha ha! It only goes 85. So the ticket said 120 plus because that's as fast as the highway patrol car could go. That's why we had to wait a long time for him to catch up. So cop gets back in the car after about a half an hour, okay, and he goes, "Let me take the handcuffs off you." Okay, sure. You want a cigarette? Yeah, I'd like a cigarette, please. Uh, and then he says, "Why did you do this?" I said, "I wanted to see how fast the car would go." And and he goes, I mean, I said, "I don't know where there's a racetrack or anywhere else I can go to ride out." So I tried it out here. I have good tires and brakes. I slowed down if I got near traffic. And he goes, if the court was not in session right now, I would have to take you straight to jail. And but it is. He said it's in session, and there's a commissioner there. And so he says to me, "I'm going to help you." The cop, he was a nice guy. He really was. And okay. So we kind of told the story. We didn't find anything. There's no problem. He was just speeding very fast. And so the commissioner, he's like, "Why did you do this?" And I said, "Well, I wanted to drive fast in the car. I wanted to know how fast I would go." And the people laughed. And then he said, "Oh, you're never going to do this again, right?" I lied and I said, "No, never." Um, anyway, I walked out, but I had to pay $250, and I had restricted driving for business only, but it was a company car, so it didn't really matter. I could drive it, and it went on my record, reckless driving, which is bad. My insurance went up a little bit. Um, anyway, a few months after that is when it happened that Maestro said, "I can't pay you. You want to come back?" So I said yes. And when I went to California, my record did not transfer to Illinois. And that was good fortune for me. And uh, I thought when I got back, factory's dark. We make a game called High Speed. Run the red light and get away. Of course, getaway came from that story, but uh, Larry DeMar, again, the great programmer. I invented automatic percentaging, which was the ability for the machine to set a replay score to a percentage. You get to open the door, put it in. That's all you have to do. What percentage you want. We would send it out at 30% replay. You beat the score. If people were beating it too much, it automatically moved up the score. And if it wasn't getting enough plays, it would move the score down automatically. Normally they get settled. Once they're in a location, there's an average and it kind of stays there. There's not really hunting for the correct percentage. And I invented the business of like self-healing. Like if a target is bad, 10 games, if you never see the target is eliminated and you don't get to need it. It takes it out of the rules. You don't have to complete it in order to finish like the traffic light. If the green light is out, you only have to get the yellow and the red. And it was a nice idea, a good invention. And this time, Larry's drinking too much coffee. He's cranky. He's cranky every day. Uh, Banging the door. Go away. I hear him on the inside. It's me, Steve, Larry. Come on, I want to come in there. No, use your key, stupid. Yeah, no, I left my key inside. Oh, damn it. And he'd get up and open the door so I could get in and work on the game. Uh, I was crazy too. I'm not, I'm guilty of a lot of stuff also. I mean, when I'm designing a game, I'm not the easiest guy to get along with. And I've heard today that I was aggressive. I heard that from LJ Green, and she was right. She's right. I was young and stupid and crazy, and I wanted to make good games. I really did, and I wanted all the best people on it too. So after many other games, Black Knight 2000 was especially fun. It was like I got everybody in the crew. Like we were all singing the song. You got the power and all that. What I love about that game is that sound you can hear anywhere in the arcade, no matter how loud everything else is. Oh, you could hear it, and that was interesting. Anyway, Larry and I had many arguments, but we remained good friends. We just said we're not going to work together anymore, so we can still be friends. And I said that's a good idea. It was. And of course, he's a dear friend now. Um, Black Knight 2000 was an interesting game. Many people were involved in it, in the music. I wrote the chords for the music, nah, nah, but I did not have a bass line. Nah, 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 nah. Didn't have that. So this guy Brian Schmidt wrote the bass line. Really pulled the room together. It did. It just made it a special song at that point. And another guy, Dan Forden, who was a magnificent sound man and my coach for speech. Not for the original Black Knight, but for Black Knight 2000. Shao Kahn, Sonia, Johnny Cage, fight, fatality. It was fun to do. He coached me. Uh, he said, "You're Asian and you're old and you're breathy," and they lowered the pitch on my voice. So it was fun doing that. I did it for two Mortal Kombats, Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Um, I did speech in other people's games because they wanted it, so I do it. Uh, Black Knight 2000 was an interesting game. Black Knight 2000 was the first game to make $1,000 a week at the Broadway Arcade in New York. It was on 50 cent play. I don't know. It was cool. It was cool to have that happen. And beyond that, there were many games. Terminator. Interesting stories. Uh, Terminator was like we got to go to Lightstorm Studios, and James Cameron was he had written. I didn't know this until I talked to him. He had written Terminator, the original Terminator movie, which I loved. I thought it was the best B movie ever made. Okay, you could not kill this guy. It's like relentless. And he told me that he wrote the thing in his car. He was living in his car. He didn't have a house. He had nothing. Just I got some money from the county or something just to eat, and so he was broke. Anyway, we got to hang with him for 3 hours. Uh, Doug Watson, Dwight Sullivan, and myself. It was a great experience. It was fun, and we were playing with the Terminator stop action models this big on his desk, and he had done Aliens also. So Sigourney Weaver and that thing he fought the female alien, the big one, the queen, and anyway, it was great. He was also a gamer. He liked to play games. He made some suggestions, and but the best part was when we got back, we started building it, and every day he would send us dailies, what they filmed that day on a VHS cassette every day. So it was amazing. We got to see everything. Also, we got read the script, but we couldn't read the last pages. Wouldn't let us because they wanted to keep the end a secret. And anyway, it was a great experience. It was fun. He would send us the hand inside a glass tube and the chip that they had in the movie. All these are real real things used in the movie. Uh, Also skulls, all over the place. Sent us five of them, put them in a pile. Uh, it was just a great experience, and I got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger much later. Anyway, it took us exactly 1 year, and when Terminator 2 came out on the 4th of July, we had machines in the theaters around the United States. I don't think we had anywhere else, but definitely they were in the theaters on the day. That was a great experience. It was fun. I like Terminator. Terminator 3 wasn't so good because it wasn't directed by James Cameron. It was directed by what's his name? I can't think of it. I don't want to know anyway. It was okay. Um, Beyond that, let's see. Uh, I have another story. Uh, this is about Black Knight 2000 again. We bring it to France. There's just the salesman in me. What was his name? No, that Didier Salman was PSD. Yes, he was there. He set up this show. But who was the vice president of sales? Marty Glazman. Yeah, Marty Glazman and I, just us two, went to France with nine uh, Black Knight 2000s, and we were in this big cafe. I wouldn't call it a cafe. I would call it a theater. Okay, it was huge on the Champs Elysees, and it was like This guy threw giant parties to spend a lot of money, because he could sell a lot of pinball machines too. So it was a big place. They were pouring champagne, and people were eating hors d'oeuvres, and uh, just kind of exciting. And neither Marty or I spoke French except for to say please and thank you and a few other things. Uh, so everything quiets down, and Didier Salmon goes to the stage, and he says, "And now I present Chevalier Noir." Okay, and the curtain opens, and there's this giant war horse. War horse is so big, huge, and not like horses that cowboys ride. They're gigantic. They have heads this big. It's like whoa. And this knight in black armor, he goes out like this. The people over here, he comes marching out like this. He turns the horse, and the horse rears up, and all these people start applauding. And it scared the hell out of the horse, and the horse let go of everything. Okay, of a garden hose diameter of pee hitting the stage and splashing. It smelled awful. It was terrible. And then a big pile on the floor, real steam coming off it. People were running out of the building. They ran out. They just didn't want to stay in there. Oh, they were disgusted. Everyone was. And I'm in total shock. And Didier Salmon is crying. He's very sad. Anyway, some guys came out in like white lab coats with shovels and brooms and antiseptic, and they cleaned the whole stage. And they opened the doors in the front and the back, and the air went through and got rid of all the smell. And people started coming back in. And then everybody started laughing, which was a good thing. After that, it went great. We unveiled the Black Knight game, and everybody played it. It worked out good in the end. But kind of a shocking story, a bad thing. Um, Other experiences that you might like to know. I really don't know. I have many stories, and the coin machine business is a strange business. It's interesting. I mean, some of you probably operate pinball machines, and you know what it's like to fix them and everything else. But it's even crazier to design them. What you have to do. It's like sometimes devices we make at Williams, we build a test fixture just to try that device and run it for 1 million times. And if it breaks, we got to fix it and keep fixing it until it will run for 1 million times. Now that number is not so good. Nobody wants to spend that much time anymore. Maybe 500,000 cycles, something like that. Chances are, though, at 500,000 cycles, it's probably going to work pretty good for the life of the game. Uh, yeah, testing for all different things. I'm testing a bunch of stuff for my new game now. They all require software. Most of them are built on a pinball play field and put in a cabinet in this room where it's so noisy you can't hear yourself think. It's just bang, 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 everything's going off. But it's a traditional and a very good thing that we do. We try to test everything. Um, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit and then talk about Elton John. Elton John was and I didn't want to do it in the beginning. I wasn't really. I mean, I was a fan. I loved some of his songs. I did. But he wrote all his good songs in the '70s. They're all old. There's no new ones. The newest one is "Candle in the Wind." Okay, that's the newest one he wrote. And well, his buddy Barry. Anyway, I didn't want to do it, but I'm with the billionaire here. The billionaire owns Jersey Jack Pinball, and he's a nice guy. He is a good person. I like him a lot. His name is Leonard, and we start walking around the factory, and he goes, "I want you to do Elton John." And I go, I don't know. Plus, a lot of America is homophobic. I was born in San Francisco. I live with gay people. It's just uh, some people in America go, I won't have that game in my house, which is bad, stupid. Everyone deserves a good life. Everyone. So I was thinking about that also. How would that affect the game? It doesn't affect anything in Europe. Um, and I thought about other stuff, but then Leonard brought up, well, he has 1 billion fans. 1 billion, really, 1 billion, huh? So I thought, okay, I'll do it. But he was yelling at me, do it, do it, do it. While I'm walking around. I say, okay, all right. It was a friendly conversation, even though, I mean, we were arguing, but friendly. I mean, he could just say you're fired and be done, but no. Um, so I made the game, and I thought the coolest thing about Elton John is the flamboyance. So many colors, the glasses, his costumes, everything. He's very entertaining. He's a great entertainer. And so that's how we built the game with the 1600 LEDs, and we wanted to make it light up like magic, and a topper that lit up the whole ceiling and that kind of stuff. It was a fun project for us. It took like 2 years to do that. Games are getting more and more complex, and also things move slower at Jersey Jack than they do at Stern. At Stern, they go, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, take out money, take out money. Okay, that's one reason why I left. It's just you have to be creative. I want to be creative. I'm an artist like any other artist. It's my media is kinetic. That's it, and I very much enjoy it still. It's a great challenge to make a pinball machine, and it's a great pleasure to see people enjoying the pinball machine. That's how I feel about it. That's the best part. People like the game. Um, I've had a lot of good times. There's another guy in here, Tony Ramone. He's back there behind you. We made the Black Knight, the original one. He did the art on the game, and it's beautiful. He spoke yesterday also, and I haven't seen him in a million years, or his wife Barbara, and so it's like a very good time for me here. And LJ shows up, and Gerard, and Evert. um, I think it's time for questions if you have them. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to need this translator. I'm sorry. Would you? That's okay. Okay. I cheat. I don't really. I get involved in the software somewhat, but it's all about the rules and an important thing to do for a game designer is like some game designers draw the whole game and then give it to the programmer. I don't do that. I work with Lyman before even draw the game. I work with Dwight before I draw the game. I don't even want to draw it until we have a chance to talk about it and have ideas back and forth. Everything I know is not perfect. Everything anybody knows is not perfect, okay? So you let other people create, and you're going to come up with a better machine, no doubt. I love people to participate. There's a young guy right now. He's out of college, maybe a year. He's a mechanical engineer. He's very good, and I am teaching him about the business. But he's very good mechanical engineer, and he's also very creative. He came up with a very nice device. Now we test it soon. We'll find out if it really is a very good device that'll last a long time. I think it will. Anyway, having people with talent. Uh, Contributing to the game is very important. I don't say do it my way. Do it my way or no way. I don't do that. In the beginning, I kind of did sometimes. Now I was too aggressive. LJ said it. She's right, though. She's right. I was. I hardly remember those days. It's like that was a long time ago. I'm glad you remember. Uh, anyway, anybody else have any questions? Come on, we got 10 minutes left to burn. What is it? Okay, that's an interesting story. We went to Paramount to get it. I wanted this. I don't think anybody else cared about the Star Trek: The Next Generation. I mean, Greg Ferris watched it a little bit, and some other people, but I loved it, and Dwight Sullivan loved the show. Okay, it was so cool. Uh, yeah, so we went to get it. I think they were in their third season, and went to Paramount. We met everybody on the crew, many people. I think his name was Mike Westmore. He was the guy that did the mask for everybody. In 1 week, he had to do it in 1 week. And his son helped him work, and Michael Okuda, a very good Star Trek historian to make sure everything is, fits in the story correct, the timeline is correct, and everything else. Also, he and his wife create sets and stuff like that. Anyway, I got to meet all these people, and they had the rule at Paramount. They go, don't talk to any stars unless they talk to you. So we didn't, okay? But we walked around. They gave us a tour, and Kelsey Grammer from Cheers pulled over. Goes, "How you guys doing?" So we got to talk to him for a while. He was a great guy, and we also got to watch one of the last episodes of Cheers being filmed. It was interesting, and uh, we saw Gates McFadden, Dr. Crusher, uh, do a scene in sick bay, and it was interesting. She didn't say anything to us, but she smiled, and we all smiled back. Yeah. And, anyway, we're sitting in the what do they call it? It's like a cafe in the company where you eat lunch. And Kirstie Alley is sitting right there, and I looked at her and I smiled, and she smiled back. That was cool. I couldn't say hi, but uh-uh. And then, but we're sitting down and we're talking, and while we're talking, Patrick Stewart comes in and sits at the table right behind us, and his manager is there, and I don't remember what they said, but he had such good pipes. He just had an incredible voice. I mean, it was awesome to be there. I said, Patrick Stewart's a great actor, I think, and in so many movies and things he's done. And he's a thespian. Who knows what a thespian is? Everyone? She does. A thespian is someone who acts Shakespeare plays. Thespian. Anyway, um, so these three ladies were talking about the game and at the table after we eat, and they're like kind of all. I mean, they're all, I guess, equal in licensing. Okay, and they were sort of arguing amongst themselves lightly. Okay, nothing too embarrassing, but they were talking back and forth, and one of them says, "Well, we're not going to let you use phasers or photon torpedoes in the game." And I go, "You can't be serious." I live with the prime directive still today. Okay, we don't fire any weapons, and the captain doesn't fire any weapons unless he's provoked. There has to be a reason. Okay, no, can't have it. Can't have phasers, or. And I'm saying, well, look, I'm not going to make a namby-pamby fake game. I'm not going to do that. And we got up and left. We left. We went back to Chicago. 2 weeks later, this guy calls up Roger Sharp, who was our licensing manager then, and he goes, "How can we salvage this?" And he talked to Roger, and anyway, I didn't know what the arrangement was, but we all went back again, and met this lady named Susie Dominic, and she was absolutely great about everything. She understood that we understood, and we weren't going to do anything that they didn't like, but we wanted to be realistic about Star Trek: The Next Generation. This game is never going to happen again either. There's no way you're going to get everybody in the crew to do speech. Uh, uh, Number two, what's his name? Riker. He didn't take it seriously, He didn't take it seriously. So we didn't use very much speech for him, but he's used in the poker game. But everybody else, Prince Minor, who was so good as Data, and we built stories before we got there to make scripts, but we didn't start just then, but we did get everybody, including Q and John Delancey, who was also a great guy, and it was fantastic to sit there and build this game, and you know, I poured my heart and soul into it. Everybody else did too. We'd have big script meetings with Greg Ferris and Dwight Sullivan and the sound guys, talking about speech and what we could say, how we would say it, and then we submitted the script, and Dan Fortin went down and recorded them all, and I made a mistake. I don't remember. It was like space, the final frontier. These are the voyages. There's a starship. I don't know what I did, but I made a mistake. So Patrick Stewart is reading this, and he goes, "Space, the final frontier. These are the a grave era." That's what. So that's recorded on the tape also. And then he said it. Then he said it how it was supposed to go. I don't know how I could blow that. You know what I mean? I know it by heart, but I don't right now. Anyway, he like he also he changed many of the things we wrote, into things in the way that he would say it, you know, engage. I know we knew that one, but there are many other things. He'd bend the sentence to be more like, you know, uh, Captain Picard. It was great, a great experience. And we also did custom speech for them that they could put in each of their games, and each one of them got a game. Brent Spiner got two, one for his manager and one for him. But Brent Spiner was a huge performer. He was great. Um, that's never going to happen again in any game. They get a whole crew. So you're lucky to get one person from a movie to do speech. It's difficult, and everybody wants money, money, money. Oh, my friend is here. How are you, Olaf? Olaf, a great artist from a long time, but especially on Elton John. What you see on the video screen, that's the man. And I said thank you. Uh, yeah, making that game was great, and it was fun, and it sold very well. It was the last five-digit pinball machine for a long time. We sold 10,000 something ACDCs and finally got five digits again, but we didn't sell 12,500. Um, the reason that happened is because, I mean, we were going big guns with, with Williams. Everybody wanted our machines, and they would, until we made Popeye, and we had contracts. You have to buy 60 machines every game we make. Sign up, and they did. They didn't want to buy that game, so they said contract is off. And when you have all the distributors doing this, then for one thing, you're not going to prosecute a distributor because if you do, you'll ruin whatever relationship you have in the future. You can't burn bridges like that. So, uh, does anybody else have another question? Yes, sir. The one I'm working on right now. It is a bitch, a bad word, but yeah, it's very hard right now. I have quite a bit of work to do, more work, no doubt. Yeah, it is the most complex. Uh, I don't mind doing that. It's fun if you have the good ideas and good mechanical engineering help and all that. Takes a little longer at Jersey Jack. Anyone else have a question? Yes, I did. The choice was roller games or American Gladiator. No, this is how you do it. One like that. All right, two, two. Okay, so we chose roller games. Roger Sharp was steering us towards roller games because he liked watching roller derby. Roller derby was a big thing in the 50s and 60s on TV. And okay, and it was kind of cool. They had that big wall. They were crossing back and forth. It was kind of a physical thing. They were fighting each other. Well, I went off the air 3 months after before we finished the game. So we just went, how could that happen? Yeah. But we kept working on it, and it turned out to be a fun game. Um, for a while, we were calling it Roller Pile, which isn't nice. But people liked it, so it was okay. I don't know how many we sold. I don't remember. So is that a sad story for you, Evert? Why? Any more questions, folks? Yes, sir. But you got to come up here. I'm deaf. What is my opinion of peanut butter? Is that what you said? Pinball 2000. Okay, I have 4 minutes, but um, okay. Moving up towards 1996, our boss, Neil Nicastro, he took the place of his father. He was the chairman of the board, and he wanted to make slot machines, and for good reason. Slot machines just make so much more money than pinball machines if you're building them. He wanted to build slot machines. And I think, he let people go hoping that maybe, something would be a hit um, in 1996. But people didn't want pinballs at that time, not as much. It was like We had our good heydays with, everybody that worked there, Pat Lawler, my brother. We sold many, many games, but it was definitely dying down. So uh, I just thought, and I felt like a traitor. I felt like I should stay here and suffer, but I also thought, I want to go back to California because it doesn't look good for pinball. I want to produce video games while this is happening. Maybe come back to pinball later. Uh, so they let my contract expire also, and I had a 1 year non-compete agreement. Nobody does that anymore. But I couldn't work for another pinball company for 1 year. Well, they forgot all about it. I made a couple of slot machines, Mermaid's Treasure. I don't remember the name of the other one. I did that while I was waiting. I didn't make any more pinball machines because it was just dead. What they wanted to focus on was slot machines. And so um, when my contract ran out, I went back to California for a week just to visit. And my parents still lived there, and I visited them. And uh, I went to Atari, new Atari, and a lot of old people that I knew there, were still there, and some new ones. And I asked if I could have a job there. What do you think? And this guy, Mark Pierce, a character. Anyway, he goes, sure, no problem. Uh, all right. I go back to Williams, and I go to work on Monday, and I get a call from the president, Ken Fidesna, and he says, "You went to Atari, didn't you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "We bought them on Friday." Wow. Okay. That's good because I didn't want to hurt anything or stop anything, but I would like to work though. I want to make video games while we wait for this. For me, Pinball 2000 at the time that was kind of cool, but what I didn't like how you shot at a black spot that you couldn't see. The first one had that. I also didn't like adding $600 to the price of a product that we couldn't sell, you know, at our regular price. And I knew I could feel that Neil DeCastro was not committed to it anymore either. But he was still very committed to video games because they made money, a lot of money. The markup on a video game is typically 100%. So I produced California Speed. We made $60 million on that game. Many, many units were sold. They're linkable, up to 4 drivers. I didn't get all the best programmers, though. San Francisco Rush got all the best programmers. But that's okay. It made a game for kids, kids and parents to play together. Um, and another game called Mean Streak. And you know what? I'm out of time. Anyway, I thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed being here very much. I want to thank Marcel, Jonathan Justin, and Martin Ayup, who's over there recording everything. Jonathan Justin put this whole thing together for us. He's the reason I'm here, he and Marcel. So anyway, I want to say thank you very much. Great talking to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.